Welcome back to Between the Vines. I'm Jennifer Phillips Russo, the Cornell Viticulture Extension Specialist with the Lake Erie Regional Grape Program, and I'm here with Andrew Holden, who is our Business Management Specialist from Penn State. Our team, the Lake Erie Regional Grape Program, is brought to you by both Cornell and Penn State. We're a two-state team, two land-grant university, and this podcast is housed by Penn State as part of that. So welcome back. Hi, Andrew.
Hey Jen, how are you doing?
It has been a crazy week. I'm trying to recover from the event we had yesterday, which was a huge success. So thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I just got back from a week of vacation, so I'm catching up on some things as well, which I'm sure we're going to talk about today. But do you want to talk about the event a little bit?
We can, yep, I'll gloss over it because our last podcast was Dr. Terry Bates and I talking
Yeah,
about what we were going to do. And
yeah.
to be quite honest with you, we didn't know what to expect because it was about crop estimation and fruit thinning should you have overcropped vines or vines that you want to build vine size with. So there's that trade-off of whether it's going to ripen the fruit or build the vine. So do you want to have a increase your vine size? You're going to take a little fruit off, or is there just way too much fruit out there and you need to take some
Hmm.
off so that it can ensure in our season that you get it ripe for your processors? So we didn't know if we were going to have a large crowd or not. We didn't know what to expect. We were prepared with a classroom style inside in the morning where Dr. Terry Bates showed slides and talked about the research behind thinning and crop estimation. And by the way, we did record that. And if you are a member of our team and receive our crop update, there is a link to that recording. If you missed it yesterday and are interested in seeing what happened, that's the classroom style of it. Then we also went outside in the afternoon portion of it and watched what thinning looks like and sort of the trial and error to get to that part of what your goal was to take off and also how to crop estimate. So we clean picked 6 vines with the harvester and weighed the fruit. And so it was really great for the growers to see. Like I mentioned earlier, we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how many people would show up, and we had over 75 in attendance that day. So
That's fantastic.
yeah, well, we've been saying all along, your vines were rested last year because of the frost. We're slightly concerned about the amount of fruit, and it was evident in the people that showed up that they are also slightly concerned with the amount of fruit that is out there. So, but was really assuring because some of the growers, you know how you try to assess the crowd about the impacts of the event. You know, did you learn
Yeah.
something? Is there anything that you're going to take away from this event? And I did have a couple growers saying, yes, we're going to go home and get the harvester out and play around and start seeing what it is that we need to do to get these vines in balance. I was like, it was
That's awesome.
one
Yeah.
of those
That,
extension moments where you're like, winning, you know?
that's really exciting because I know leading up to it, talking to a lot of growers at our different meetings, there was a lot of hesitancy and it seemed like people shied away from crop thinning. So if there's people going out and trying it, that's exciting.
Yeah, thank you. And there were a lot of questions that we anticipated, you know, different machines and removing bow rods in
Hmm.
different areas and whether you're going to put your bow rods in phase or out of phase and what works
Hmm.
best. And it was a really great meeting. I'm sorry you missed it, but I'm glad you
Yeah,
missed
I
it
know.
for the reasons that you did.
There's yeah, it seems like there's more opportunity to learn on this too, with the different machines and different people's experiences. So hopefully with people being more willing, we'll be learning more, uh, making this more effective going forward.
I agree.
How how are the grapes looking? I know you're, talking about well-rested vines. I mean, are we on track this year? Is the weather being kind to us for getting things ripe, or is it too early to tell?
The weather has been very kind for fruit set and also berry size. So we've had a lot
Hmm.
of water during cell division and the berries, Dr. Barry Bates, Dr. Terry Bates does his Concord berry curve and he follows that weekly. And the
Hmm.
berries here at the lab are approximately 10 to 15% larger than the
Wow.
average. So Yeah, so that we have bigger berries and there are a lot of berries out there. So
That could bode some big
yes.
results if that's belt wide. That's a lot of extra fruit.
And unfortunately, some of the crop estimation numbers rolling in from grower reports are quite high.
Yeah.
We're talking between 10, 15 ton per acre. And I know that Terry and I, talk about it viticulturally. We are not business managements. We are not the
Yeah.
owners of this business. So I know that there are business decisions put in place as well that we cannot speak to. Maybe you can at some point, but it must be difficult not having that fruit last year and having it
Yeah.
this year. But are you going to chance, if you have smaller vines and you are trying to ripen 10 to 15 tons per acre, you're
Hmm.
probably going to struggle to get that fruit ripe. Not to mention that there is that possibility that the processor doesn't take it all. So, do you thin the vine to keep it healthy and potentially gain vine size so that next year you have sort of an even, not the peaks and valleys that you would get with
Hmm.
a heavy crop and a low crop? And possibly even build vine size to support that same type of crop next year. That's what I would suggest, but I'm not on the business side of things, so I can't speak to decisions made due to that.
Well, I fully, as someone on the business side, I fully agree with that analysis. We're wanting to look, at the long term and not just the short term, and it can be an easier decision to put a lot of fruit on this year, but like you said, Jen, we want to make sure that our vines are sustainable and healthy for the next 3 or 4 years because the decisions that we're making this year affect next year's crop as well. But
Exactly. So I know while you were gone,
yeah,
something exciting happened.
yeah. So we've been waiting and waiting for it, and it's finally open now. But it's the New York Resilient Food Systems Infrastructure Equipment Only Grant, which is a mouthful to say, but uh, this grant has been we've been waiting for it to open for some time now. It was originally going to open, I believe, in the fall of 2024, and they pushed it back to early 2025, and now it's July of 2025, and it's finally open. But regardless, it's open now, and the window for it is very, very short. It opened last week, and it's going to be closing next week.
Wow.
So we're going to be putting this out as soon as possible. We're going to be putting out a crop update and hopefully maybe some text messages out to get people aware if they haven't heard already, and get people applying for it because I think it's a really good opportunity for our growers that still need bulk equipment or want to purchase newer bulk equipment to replace some of their aging bulk equipment, or even wineries to purchase some processing equipment as well. To give a background for those that are unaware of what this grant is, it was a two-part grant that was awarded out to the states, and each state handled it differently. Pennsylvania has already completed both parts of their grant. The first part was an infrastructure grant, which was a little bit larger. It was up to $1 million, and they were looking for processors and larger scale operations to bolster the supply chain. Essentially, this came out of COVID and the supply chain issues that we had, and this funding was to really try and bolster some of the local food and local supply chain uh, systems here. So
Did any of
each
our,
state,
did any of our
yeah, no,
processors or wineries take advantage of that in PA?
yes, they did. And that's why I'm excited about this New York one and really encouraging growers that think that they can apply because it was just announced a few days ago, the New York uh, recipients, and I believe there was two farms that received bulk equipment, bins and gondolas as part of that grant. There was also a processor that got the infrastructure grant for a new refrigeration system, and there was also a winery that received processing and packaging or funds for processing and packaging equipment for a co-packing system. So
Fantastic.
that's yeah, so that's exciting, and I know a lot more people applied for it in Erie County than received it. But the grant is fairly limited in its size, and I think the New York one is even a little bit more limited. The grant is up to $100,000, and I think they only have $1 million statewide.
Oh,
So at the maximum or at the minimum, that's 10 grants. I mean, it's between 30,000 and 100,000. So it's not a lot of grants being awarded statewide, but we do know that the folks in Pennsylvania, two folks in Pennsylvania received this grant for bulk equipment, one for winery processing equipment. So we know it's possible. We know that those are eligible for receiving this award. So I encourage anyone that still is in the market or still looking, for some funds to pursue bulk equipment to apply. The deadline is July 23rd. So
that's 2025, July 23rd. That's
yeah,
next week.
it's coming fast. I've walked quite a few people through this grant on the Pennsylvania side and helped them with their applications some. And it's not incredibly difficult, but you do have to have a quote for the equipment that you're looking to purchase. That can be an older quote that you've gotten in the past year or so, but ideally a newer, updated quote. But with this quick timer turnaround, use what you have. But there's a short survey. And the application, explaining why this equipment is important for your business. And when it comes to bulk equipment, I think it's a really good case because most processors have switched to only accepting bulk equipment, bulk delivery, and it's pretty easy to make your case. Uh, if you have any questions, just give me a call. If you're in the Lake Erie region and you're wanting to apply for this on the New York side, give me a call. I'm happy to sit down, help. Time is limited, so definitely get started on it. I know I've been encouraging people to get their UEI numbers ahead of time. So hopefully, if you're interested in this, you've done that. If not, let me know. We can work on that as well. But take a look at it. Try and get it done over this weekend, and then come to me on Monday if you have questions. I should be available for phone calls or stop into our office. If I have a ton of people, I might not be able to make it out to everybody's farm, but yeah. So we're excited about this. It's going to be pretty competitive. So um, there's no guarantees, but our Pennsylvania folks have received it, so our New York folks should definitely be applying.
So I have a, as you were talking, and I'm sorry that I'm putting you on the spot while we're having a
Yeah.
podcast, but I'm wondering if people can't make it into the office in this short turnaround, that maybe you could hold some online office hours, like a Zoom
Yeah.
meeting where people could just pop in and ask their questions.
Yeah, I definitely can do that. I probably the quickest way would be just people giving my cell phone a call, and it's up on the website with my number. But
You can
I
find that.
will
Sorry, I just want to say the
definitely,
website just so people who are listening,
yeah.
lergp.com. You can find it on our website there. So,
And I'm just checking my calendar, but Monday, most of the day Monday, I'm pretty open. So I'll block off most of that day for phone calls and working with folks. So yeah, please give me a call or stop by, or we can set up a Zoom. If that's something that you're um, able to do, we can set that up as well for folks wanting to apply.
and is this a this is I'm pretending that I know a little bit about this. Is
Yeah.
this is a reimbursement grant, correct?
Yes. So it's a reimbursement grant, meaning you can't have already purchased the equipment. They're gonna want you to wait until you receive the award to purchase the equipment.
Okay.
Um, I know I've heard, I don't want to go too much on record saying this, but I heard the Pennsylvania grant, there was maybe some wiggle room for that because of the timeline and everything. I'm not sure on the New York side. I don't want to speak
Right.
on that, but according to the rules, you have to receive the award before you go ahead and purchase the equipment. They want to avoid people, using these funds that would have just purchased the equipment anyway, without
Gotcha.
it. So it made sense.
It
Yeah.
does. And does it have to be bulk equipment, or it can be any equipment that you can justify that is a need for your operation?
Yeah, so there are some stipulations, and it's probably good for me to say that, Jen, is let me pull it up here.
You can share your screen too if you want for when this goes on YouTube, if that's of interest of you.
Yeah, so I'm trying to pull up the exact wording. Here it is. Okay, so it's for equipment for the aggregation, processing, manufacturing, storing, transporting, wholesaling, or distribution of agricultural food products.
Wow.
So that essentially means you can use it for equipment that you are using to bring crops to market. That excludes tractors, that excludes harvesters. Um, so really, when it comes to juice production, great, Concord production, we're really just looking at gondolas, bulk bins, semi trailers.
And the same with wine production, correct?
When it comes to wine production, then you can get into the processing and the manufacturing and the transporting. So, maybe a truck,
Bottle line, something that helps.
yeah, a bottle line, a refrigeration system, other things to help distribute, your product if you're distributing it to other vendors. Um, Storage, so bins or not bins, excuse me, tanks um,
Ah,
for juice storage. So the wineries are a little bit more broad in what they can use it for because they're actually processing, doing more of the processing than Concord growers or juice growers.
cool. As you're I'm texting some of our winery guys right now as you're
Yeah.
talking. I'm like, call Andrew.
Yeah. So it's exciting. I just saw this morning that they're only allocating $1 million, which it's good. I don't want to,
You don't want to deter anybody from doing it.
yeah, I don't want to deter anyone from doing it, and I'm glad that this money is going into the food system, reinforcement, but it is going to be pretty competitive because there's a lot of people in New York State, and it's going to be a limited amount. But I think, like I said, I think there's a definite need for the bulk equipment. Think there's a definite need to help bolster the wine industry and the wine market right now. So, um, if it takes half a day to apply for this, I think it's well worth trying to get it and really make the case for yourself and explain in great detail what bulk equipment is, why it's being why you need to purchase it, why the processors have switched to it, and how not having it will affect your business. That's a good application, a good argument on why you should be receiving the grant. So,
So please, if you're an LERGP member, reach out to Andrew. That's
yeah,
part of the perks of a membership is that you get these one-on-ones that he can help walk you through this. So please reach out to Andrew. If you're not a member, please consider being
yeah.
one, which you can find how to enroll on our website as well and receive some of these perks from us. So, well, thank
So
you.
the
Yeah,
one last thing
absolutely.
I should mention was they did have office hours or they did like a Zoom webinar for this equipment only grant program, and that is available on their website. The state of New York actually hired a third party to administer this grant, and it's the Farm and Food Growth Fund. So if you search the Resilient Food System Infrastructure Grant, you should be able to find the Farm and Food Growth Fund website, or just go onto their website. I know that's a mouthful. We'll try to link everything
I was gonna say
in
maybe
the
put it in an article in our
YouTube
crop
and
update. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Look for the crop update article and we'll try and maybe put stuff on our Facebook as well.
Okay.
But Cool.
Fantastic. Well, welcome back.
Yeah.
Hit the ground running after a nice soothing
Yeah.
vacation, right?
Of course, we should have known it was going to happen while I
Right.
was away, but
All right, well, that's fantastic. I think there's a lot of things out there that can help our industry and our growers. Please call Andrew. You can find his contact information at lergp.com. And if there are other things that you would like to learn more about that we don't cover in our normal podcast, please feel free to reach out to us and ask for more information. Even if it's just by email and you don't need a podcast on it, we are always here for you. That is the mission of Land Grant University is for us to share research-based information to help your operations. So reach out to us with questions you have. If we don't know the answer, we probably have a colleague who does, so we can, and if you are a member of the Lake Erie Regional Grape Program, you get both resources from Cornell and Penn State University, not just one state university. So it's behooves you, or I just think it's a fantastic resource and glad to be a part of it.
yeah.
All
And
right,
it makes us happy to help. That's the
it
best part
does.
of our day. So
It
let us
does.
know.
All right, everybody, thanks for joining us this week. There might be a slight pause because of some international travel, which I'm really excited about, and I'll tell you all about it when we get back. But heading over to do a lot of international viticultural things to hopefully bring some stuff back to this region. So,
That's a good cliffhanger. We'll get
right?
some more listeners. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Hopefully everything's going well with your growing season. If you need help, reach out to us. We're here for you, and have a great week, everyone.